Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into a topic that's, well, it's kind of exploding right now, honestly.
Definitely a hot topic.
Battery recycling.
Yeah.
With electric vehicles and the whole push for sustainable energy, it's no longer a niche thing. It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to break it all down for you today.
Absolutely. Like, where is it all going? What's happening right now? We're going to look at all that.
We're using this report from Cognitive Market Research. It's called, Which Are the Top Manufacturing Companies of Battery Recycling Market? Quite a mouthful, right?
Yeah, they could have shortened that title.
But it's got a lot of great info. We're going to try to pull out the most important bits, give you a clear picture of who's doing what the trends are.
Yeah, and I think what people really want to know, like, why does this even matter?
Exactly. So back in 2024, the market was already valued at, get this, $27.51 billion US dollars. But projections show it hitting a whopping $61.60 billion by 2032.
Wow.
Growing at a CAGR of 10.60%. That's massive growth. Now, the CAGR, just so everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, good point.
It's the average annual growth rate over that time period.
Right, so it shows you how fast things are changing.
Exactly. And it's not just about, more electric cars on the roads.
Oh, it's way bigger than that.
There's a huge demand for sustainable energy everywhere, which means more batteries.
And more batteries that will eventually need to be recycled.
Plus, the environmental impact of just dumping these batteries is a major concern.
Oh, absolutely. And the regulations around battery disposal are getting stricter all the time.
So recycling is becoming, well, it's kind of the only sensible option.
It's not just about getting rid of waste, though, right? There's valuable stuff in these batteries.
Oh, yeah. Lithium, cobalt, nickel, graphite.
All essential for making new batteries. Recovering those materials means less mining, which is good for the planet.
And could even make batteries cheaper in the long run.
Definitely. So it's a win-win situation. Less waste, more resources.
Okay, so the report highlights some companies as the top players in battery recycling. Let's start with Umicore.
Okay, so Umicore. They're based in Brussels, Belgium, and they're a global leader in materials technology and recycling, really focused on recovering those critical metals we talked about, like cobalt, nickel, lithium from used batteries.
And they're doing pretty well financially.
Oh, yeah. In 2023, their total sales hit $20.2 billion, and a big chunk of that came from their battery materials and recycling operations. So, they're putting their money where their mouth is.
What's their approach to recycling?
They mainly use what's called hydrometallurgical techniques. It's kind of like a high-tech chemistry set. They use solutions to dissolve and separate the different metals from the shredded battery parts.
Sounds complicated.
It is, but it's super efficient. The report says they can recover up to 95% of the valuable materials from lithium-ion batteries. That's a huge jump from just a few years ago when recycling rates were around 70%.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, it really makes battery recycling a lot more viable, Like, we can actually recover most of the stuff.
And they're not just doing this in one place, right?
Yeah. No, Umicore has a whole network of recycling plants all over the world, in Europe, Asia, and North America. That global reach means they can handle battery waste from different regions and get those recovered materials back to manufacturers all over.
So they're really thinking globally.
Absolutely. And they're also working on developing even cleaner recycling processes and partnering with big EV manufacturers. That close collaboration is really key. It ensures a steady supply of used batteries and helps tailor the recycling process to the specific types of batteries being used.
Next up, we have Ecobat, based in the UK. They've been around for a while, right?
Yeah, Ecobat is a longtime player in the battery recycling world, especially known for lead-acid battery recycling. But they're now making a big push into lithium-ion batteries.
So they're adapting to the changing market.
Definitely. And they've got this huge network of facilities in North America, Europe, Asia, processing millions of batteries every year. That's a serious operation.
And they're not just sticking to one method, are they?
Nope. Ecobat uses a combination of mechanical processes, like shredding and sorting the batteries, and then pyrometallurgical techniques, which involve using high heat to melt and separate the materials, and hydrometallurgical methods too.
So a bit of everything.
Yeah, that gives them flexibility to handle different types of batteries. And they've developed their own advanced recycling systems that are designed to recover as much as possible while minimizing the environmental impact.
The report also mentioned they've partnered with a major EV manufacturer to supply recycled lithium.
Oh yeah, that's a smart move. It secures them a buyer for their recycled lithium and gives the EV company a more sustainable source of this crucial material. It's a great example of how the circular economy can work in practice.
Now, Glencore, They're not primarily a recycling company, are they?
No, Glencore is more of a commodities trading and mining giant, but they're getting increasingly interested in recycling, especially for those key battery materials. Cobalt, nickel, lithium, and they're making some serious money from it too.
Yeah, their metals and minerals segment, which includes recycling, is contributing more and more to their overall revenue, which was, hold on, $217.83 billion in 2023. That's a staggering number.
It is, but it kind of makes sense when you think about it. Their experience in mining and metallurgy gives them a head start in recycling. They already know how to extract metals efficiently and on a large scale.
Right, so they can adapt their existing infrastructure and expertise to handle battery recycling.
Exactly. They're also investing in advanced technologies to ensure they can extract high-quality metals from those used batteries, feeding them back into the supply chain.
So it's almost like a natural extension of their existing business.
In a way, yeah. They're leveraging their strengths to tap into this growing market.
Okay, let's talk about RecycLiCo Corporation. They're a lot younger than some of the other companies we've discussed, right?
Yeah, RecycLiCo was founded in 2016, so they're relatively new to the game. But they've made a big splash with their spoken hub technology. It's a really innovative approach to lithium-ion battery recycling, designed for efficiency and sustainability.
And it seems to be working for them. Their revenue in 2023 was $18.30 million, with significant growth in their battery recycling business.
Yeah, they're growing rapidly, and the spoke and hub model is a big part of that. They have regional spoke facilities where they do the initial processing of the batteries, shredding, sorting, that sort of thing. Then those materials are sent to centralized hub facilities for the more complex refining processes.
So like a two-stage process.
Exactly. It helps streamline the logistics and ensures the high-quality recovery of materials. They're also committed to minimizing waste and emissions throughout their process.
Last but not least, in the top 5, we have American Battery Technology Company, or ABTC.
Okay, ABTC. They're based in Reno, Nevada. And they're all about sustainable and innovative technology. They're really focused on finding environmentally friendly ways to recover critical materials, mainly from those lithium-ion batteries.
And they're using a combination of hydrometallurgical and mechanical techniques, right?
That's right. They're kind of merging those two approaches. Mechanical processes are good for the initial dismantling and separation of the battery parts. Then the hydrometallurgical methods come in to get those high-purity metals.
So they're getting the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I think that's the idea. Maximize recovery, minimize waste and energy use, and they're expanding pretty aggressively, too, with plans for new facilities across the U.S.
So they're aiming to be a major player in the U.S. market.
Definitely. They're one to watch, for sure.
Okay, so those are the big 5. But there are a bunch of other companies emerging that could shake things up, right?
Oh, yeah. The battery recycling landscape is constantly evolving. New technologies are popping up. New players are entering the game. It's an exciting time to be in this industry.
So who are some of these potential disruptors?
Well, there's RecycLiCo Battery Materials, Inc. They're based in Vancouver, Canada. And they've developed a unique hydrometallurgical process that's super efficient and environmentally friendly, especially good at recovering lithium, cobalt, nickel in their pure forms.
And then there's Exide Industries Ltd., based in India. They've been big in lead-acid battery recycling, but are now expanding into lithium-ion.
Right. Their experience, their global network, and their investment in new technologies make them a serious contender. And the fact that they can handle both lead-acid and lithium-ion gives them flexibility.
How about GEM Co. Ltd. from South Korea?
They're another company with advanced technologies, particularly for recovering precious metals. They're focusing on those high-value materials and expanding in both Asia and North America. They could become a global force.
It's interesting to see Fortum, an energy company from Finland, getting into battery recycling.
Yeah, it shows how important the circular economy is becoming for the whole energy sector. Fortum's expertise in sustainable energy solutions is a big asset, and they've just opened a cutting-edge recycling plant in Finland, so they're serious about it.
Finally, we have Enersys, a U.S.-based company. They're actually involved in battery technologies themselves, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a leader in stored energy solutions, including advanced battery technologies. That gives them a deep understanding of battery life cycles, from design to recycling. And they're increasingly focused on sustainability, so they're well positioned to make a mark in the recycling market.
So it's a pretty competitive landscape. What does the report say about what new companies need to do to succeed in this market?
Well, it emphasizes the need for innovation. You can't just rely on old methods. Developing cutting-edge, cost-effective technologies, especially for lithium-ion batteries, is crucial.
So new companies really need to bring something new to the table.
Absolutely. The report talks about the importance of exploring new hydrometallurgical processes, biotechnological approaches, even direct recycling methods. These technologies need to be efficient at recovering materials, environmentally friendly, and importantly, cost-effective.
Right, because even the best technology won't get adopted if it's too expensive.
Exactly. And sourcing raw materials, like those end-of-life batteries, at a good price is key too, as is achieving high recovery rates for those valuable metals without breaking the bank.
It sounds like partnerships are going to be essential for success.
Oh, absolutely. Building strong relationships with battery manufacturers, EV companies, energy storage developers is crucial. It gives you a reliable source of used batteries and can even influence the design of batteries to make them easier to recycle in the future.
So it's a win-win for everyone involved.
Definitely. And the report also stresses the need for flexibility and scalability. The market's changing rapidly, so companies need to be able to adapt to new battery chemistries, evolving regulations, and increasing demand.
Sounds like you need to be on your toes in this industry.
Yeah, it's fast-paced and dynamic. The report also highlights the Asia-Pacific region, especially China, South Korea, Japan, as having huge growth potential. So understanding those markets and tailoring your strategy is important.
And of course, sustainability is a key factor.
Definitely. Consumers and investors are increasingly looking for companies that are environmentally responsible. So things like using renewable energy to power your recycling facilities, minimizing waste, reducing your environmental footprint, those are all good moves.
It seems like sustainability is not just a nice to have, it's a must have.
Yeah, it's becoming a core part of business strategy in this sector.
So to wrap things up, this deep dive into the battery recycling market, based on this cognitive market research report, shows an industry that's booming, driven by the rise of electric vehicles and the global shift towards a circular economy. The market was valued at $27.51 billion in 2024 and is projected to reach $61.60 billion by 2032. That's some serious growth.
And it's a competitive market with established giants like Umicore, Ecobat, Glencore, Li-Cycle, ABTC, but also lots of new companies emerging with innovative technologies and strategies.
It's clear that success in this market requires a combination of technological innovation, cost efficiency, a strong commitment to sustainability, and strategic partnerships.
Absolutely. And as the industry continues to evolve, research and development, collaboration, and a focus on environmental responsibility will be key.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What groundbreaking technologies will we see in the next few years? How will the competitive landscape shift? And how will all these changes impact not just the automotive industry, but every sector that relies on batteries? It's a fascinating space to watch, and I have a feeling we're just at the beginning of this story.
I agree. The future of battery recycling is full of possibilities, and it's going to be exciting to see how it all unfolds.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be back soon with another look at a topic that matters. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking questions.
And don't forget to recycle those batteries.
See you next time.